I'm ready to rock.
Let's go.
So we just watched both episodes, and I actually, there's a lot of people who hit me up on Instagram or Twitter, or I hear about it when a local news story happens. So that happened on one of the episodes, so we had to watch it on NBC.com.
Oh.
But we were able to watch both episodes, and I'm just like, wow, because I haven't watched an episode in like a little while, and it's so cool. I was like, oh my gosh, brings me back to that moment, and I'm really excited to chat about everything. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome everyone to the Freddie and Alyssa Show. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe. Click that subscribe button. It feels so good too, I promise. Like, comment, all that fun YouTube stuff. What Alyssa and I are going to do is, I believe this is actually episode 98 that we're filming the Freddie and Alyssa Show. But for the next 3.5 months until September 1st, we want to do the Freddie and Alyssa Show weekly Sonny Kiriakis Days of Our Lives edition.
Recap, baby.
Recap. That's a little long of a title. We'll have to do a little working title
we'll
here.
Work on it.
But on top of our normal 2 episodes of the Freddie and Alyssa Show, we want to do for the next 15 weeks a tribute to Sonny Kiriakis, to the Wilson storyline. We want to follow, the last few dozen episodes before Sonny leaves Salem. Maybe it's just temporary. The door's always open in Salem, so it's not forever, but for at least right now. And I kind of just want to be here with all of you while we watch this take place over the summer. So every Friday, this being the first Friday, we're going to have recap date. We'll figure out the title. But anyway, on Fridays from here on out, the next 16 Fridays, we're going to do a special Freddie and Alyssa Show edition to Sonny Kiriakis, Wilson, and Days of Our Lives, that storyline as we progress. So what do you want to start with first?
Well, first and foremost, I have to tell you, I'm so excited we're doing this because anytime we sit down and we watch the show, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I always forget what a great actor you are. And I know. Not just saying that, but I think this week too, you especially had some really fun, interesting material. And so I was watching and I was just like, oh my gosh, because I don't see those sides of you. And it's just bone chilling sometimes when you act.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're so intense and it was so good. And I just love that I get to see too, your last 15 weeks, whatever it might be, because we generally don't really watch it, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm excited to do this.
It's nice to check in. I definitely was watching myself at the very beginning, and then it just kind of gets a little weird watching yourself because you end up I don't know. It's just a lot of actors are like that where they don't watch their work, and so I kind of watch, I kind of don't. I see clips.
But
so
you've also been on for 9 years. That's a
lot of episodes.
Of work to watch.
Yeah, to watch, and but I always hear the chatter online. So anytime it's just tons of mentions on Twitter, I was like, something big happened today. So we'll end up looking at those episodes. But even the smaller episodes where we're the B or C storyline, there's always moments that I remember about that day. And that's why I'm excited here. And the one was when we were in the hospital room with Uncle Vic, and then Wally and Chandler were there. The thing I remember most about that is I don't know what was hurting me that day, but I had a foot problem or my sciatica. I remember complaining to Wally, and he's like, you're 30. He's like, you're 30. But the way he said it, was he didn't say it in these words, but the way he delivered it was just wait.
Just wait.
Just
oh,
wait.
No.
So I remember being like, something hurts. I don't remember what it was. But it's always great. I love working with John Aniston and Wally. It's you build such a chemistry and relationship, and I'm so happy they turned out well, and we found out the big news, and so it was a really cool episode.
And it really comes through too with all of you. I've truly believed that the relationships and that because you're all related, and you feel that it's so cool.
Yeah, no, we've done a lot of stuff together, and then Wally, he was nominated for an Emmy.
He was.
Congrats, Wally! Congrats to everybody who was nominated. Big list of Days of Our Lives. Shout out to my partner in crime, Chandler Massey. Just everybody. A lot of people. 22 nominations for the cast and crew of Days of Our Lives. So congrats to everybody. That's awesome. I'm excited to watch. I think it's June 26th.
They're live streaming it?
They're doing something. I have to look into it, but I think it's.
I guess it's not live streaming. It's probably just.
So it'll be the 26th. We'll be able to sit and watch and root everybody on. Ooh. So that'll be good. And then the other episode that I am this is a meaty one. Working opposite Brock Kelly.
It was so good.
Yeah.
So good. Okay, so explain what happened in this episode.
Well, I mean, it was interesting because I remember getting direction that day, and we were first up. Mm-hmm. And that's always the hardest because imagine having to do that an hour and a half after you wake up.
And so what time was this at, would you say?
So we started filming at 8:45 in the morning.
Wow.
So I probably woke up at 6 that day, went to work, got to run very little with Brock because you're getting your hair and makeup done. And then I even looked at the schedule, and I did scenes with Chandler after for another episode. Whoa. So I went from that to an episode with Chandler. So I had to run all that stuff in like 30 minutes. And then we got there. And it was a unique thing because anytime you're in a position where you're like yelling or being angry, the acting coach even shared this with me on set too, is you don't want to just be here the whole time because then it just gets repetitive and then boring, and in every scene you have nowhere to go and it's just here and you're just throwing things. Right. It's finding moments and shifting, adding, how Maria says, color, and never have anything locked and loaded. And one of my things I was proud it turned out well when I was saying, when you like, you know, Will was in prison and Ari was left without a dad and all this stuff. It's like, as an actor, you never want the audience or the other actor to know you have that loaded, because in real life, you don't have a monologue ready to let people have it. And sometimes you get trapped. So you have to act as if you're coming up with this while you're mad right on the spot so that you don't see that it's ready to go because you're ripping through a monologue.
Interesting.
So it was really great. I am so proud of how it turned out. Brock Kelly did amazing. I loved, because I think even feeling it that day, when you do scenes like that, in your mind, you're not really angry.
Right.
And it's the weirdest thing because in real life, if someone cuts you off or you have a fight, the anger lingers. Mm-hmm. So you leave something or a meeting, or you leave where something happens and you're still upset. It's very strange to be that angry. And then you know that the last line's happening, they're cutting to me, cutting to him, and then they cut the scene, and then you go, all right, we're good on that? Great. And then you like grab your sides, and then you're like going over them, and then you're like, okay, so, no. Are you guys ready? Yeah. Gonna do that. It's like, oh, so it's Will, it's Ari, so Will and Ari hit that. Okay, good. Yep, we're ready. You want to just go to tape on this one? Yeah. You want to go straight to tape? Great, let's go straight to tape. 5, 4, 3. You better tell me right now. Oh, and then you get back into it. So it's weird that you're acting angry, but you're not really angry. During the scene, you get yourself worked up.
Sure.
But then you'll cut and you're on to the next thing. And then I'm just like, where am I going now? Where's me and Will's scenes? So it's strange. So I remember leaving set not feeling like I did a good job.
You know, it's so crazy, too, to go back to what you're saying about never to have anything locked and loaded. You could tell the way that you were, like, affecting, or maybe just Brock was really great at acting it, but there's one time when you're just sitting there, just telling him what was up, and as I was watching, I was like, oh my God, I wouldn't want to be on the other end of that, and then they show Brock, and he literally looks terrified of you, and I just feel like it was just that delivery, and it just gave him so much to work with, like, because I was watching it, I know how I felt being like, holy cow, I wouldn't want to be on the other end of that, and then they show him, and he just looks so scared and terrified, and it was great, man.
Well, and his delivery back really helps. Like that's when you work with people who give you something, it allows you to like be affected. And I don't know how other actors do it, but for me, you'll never out of rehearsal, definitely rehearsal in the dressing room or makeup room or dry block, you will never get even 50% of what I'm going to do out of it.
Of course.
Anytime, yeah. If you were to watch, like even in the rare case where you see we get 3 takes, in a rare case. If you watched all 3, I do it different every time.
I love that though.
Because it's going to be different. It's kind of like going over if you're going to like break up with someone or you're going to go tell someone off or you're going to do something, you can go over it in your head. Mm-hmm. But when it happens, you don't know what the other person's going to do. Yep. So you have to kind of be ready. And then yet again, if you're locked and loaded and all of a sudden Brock changes his way of delivering it, I can't have something ready and then he does something that doesn't warrant that. So it's really just like, just listen, pay attention, and then deliver.
You telling me that you had a scene, and I forget exactly who it was with, but basically they had switched the line on accident, which because you were listening, it forced you to completely change what you were saying so that it would make sense.
Yeah.
And that's so important too, to always be listening and not have things locked and loaded and be ready to improvise if you have to.
Well, that was an actual pivotal moment in my career. As an actor in general, not even with Days, is I was still, and you can see this in my first year, 2 years, I was a good actor, but it was
It's new.
it was new, it was hollow, it was surface. It was very surface. It was I'm on a show and I'm acting and I better act good.
Yeah.
And like I'm gonna, and yet again I remember making choices where I would, I was making more choices as a kid because it was all like the stuff you learn where you're like, oh, like I watched Brad Pitt play with something, or I watched this and I watched that, and I know a lot of actors can excel that way. For me, if I have something pre-planned, it distracts me from my moment. So I never have anything pre-planned. Like I will not do the same thing twice. Like even when I go to pour things at a bar, there's days that I'll get to pouring it, other takes that I won't get to pouring it, because it just depends on how it feels.
Yeah.
If it's obtuse, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And to go back to your thing is that there was a scene that I believe it was Judy Evans, I can't remember.
That's what I thought too.
Where she, and I was new. This stuff happens all the time, but I was so new that I didn't like pick up on it. But it was basically like, how's your day going? Or, hey, what's up? And if someone says, how's your day going? And you say, oh, nothing. Whatever that was, it was just so slightly different. And then I said my line. I didn't listen. So they were like, cut. And I even think she's like, oh, sorry. I was like, no, it's my fault for not listening. But from that moment on, I go, I don't know if someone's going to change the variation of this speech or this line. I have to listen because we just go straight to tape most of the time. So I'm like, what are you about to say? And is this going to make sense? And it changed my acting career forever because I had to turn into a listener. And that is what made me, they always say good acting's reacting or acting's reacting. And that's what I do. I go in with an intention. And anytime that I can be mean, I love it. I love it.
Fun for
I
you.
love it because I
You're
can
really
pull.
good at doing it though. Like today, I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
You're so intense.
I just know, and I don't pull from things specifically. It's just in there.
Sure.
Like I know when I want to sit down and tell somebody that I'll spend the rest of my life coming after you, because I know what that's like to be that mad at somebody that I will dedicate my life to coming after you, and I just know it. It's just in there. I feel it, and so it was just really fun. So I couldn't be happier. I'm glad that it turned out well. And people seem to really like it.
I'd love to see you play a really bad guy in a movie or primetime show or even a daytime show. I just love to see you be like the bad guy.
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing that I would want to do, and it would be really tough because Sonny is, such the golden boy that all of my anger that's about as far as I can pull it. Like yelling at Maggie, what I did with Brock is about as far as I can push it because he's not insane. But he's a hurt person.
Exactly.
And the anger's coming from hurt. It'd be interesting to play a character where the anger's coming out of narcissism and evil. I would have a little more fun in the sense of how I deliver it.
Of course.
Sonny was being real, but as an evil guy, you can kind of have fun.
Yeah.
That you're going to spend the rest of your life. And so it's still like, uh-oh. But you like Sonny couldn't go, I'm going to spend the rest of my life coming after you, Brock. Cut. Yeah. Oh, too much? Okay. Sorry about that.
Well, that's the whole thing with Sonny, too, is that he lost his mother and his husband was in jail. So, of course, you're going to be as upset and...
Oh, it was completely warranted.
Yeah.
And I will say that I'm really, though the Sonny journey's coming to an end, I am so grateful that the story that they chose to tell in this last year really allowed me to do new things. Because yet again, crying over your mom dying in the show is very challenging and scary and anxious filled going to work, knowing you have to do that. Like, oh my God, this is going to be so much hard work. It's going to be so challenging, but you feel amazing afterwards. The Maggie stuff, like a lot of, like even these kind of scenes, I'm really happy I got to do some of that stuff.
Yeah.
I got to really explore. So I'm really happy. And then of course the next, however many episodes, there's another storyline coming that I'm excited to watch, and we'll be breaking it down. But I do want to get to some of the questions.
I do too. And I have a quick question myself, just because we were talking and it's been on my mind. I'm curious, in your entire time at Days, what is the shortest amount of time you've had to run lines with someone and the most time you've had to rehearse before shooting?
There's been a few times that there was no rehearsal.
Wow.
Sometimes it's no rehearsal, meaning I didn't run it with the person. I mean, I ran it in my dressing room,
yeah.
like, you know, going myself, or I ran it with the acting coach, Maria. Sometimes I would just like in my dressing room pace and run it myself and never run it with the other actor.
Wow.
There's even certain times with me and Chandler, if we kind of had a, you know, one of those softball days where it's just kind of like, you know, where we're just, I was like, hey man, like, are you good? He's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, yeah, me too. And then so we'll just go out and do it for the first time ever on camera.
But you have such that relationship and that chemistry together of all those years working that if it's a softball scene, like you say, you know, just light and fun and easy,
yeah,
you're going to know. And I think that's kind of great to get just natural reactions like the first time you do it.
It is.
Hopefully it's good.
It is, yeah.
It is.
Well, but you also can't really do that with someone, because you also build up equity, and it's just like is what it is, where you know, I just know Sonny so well, and then when you work with someone like Chandler or Wally that I work with all the time, Judy, I mean, it's, you just know. Most of the time I rehearse not even for the lines, I rehearse for the beats. It's because I don't really read the other person's, and that's the other cool thing. There's been a few times where I don't even read
what they say,
what Chandler's lines are. I just look and go, here's my lines. I don't know what he's saying to prompt me to do this, but yet again, I've known him so long, I just kind of know my lines, and then I really have to listen because I go, what the hell is he going to say? And so that helps too, just making sure I know my beats so I don't overstep him too much or I don't speak quick enough.
Yeah.
I'm more used to rehearse for the beats, especially in a group scene. If Sonny's just saying, you know, coming in being like, oh yeah, well, she told me that. You're not going to forget that line,
Right.
but you like, when do you say it?
Yeah.
So you're just like, red light. When did she say, you know, like, so you're like waiting on that. But yeah, there were many times, and then other times we would go, you know, we would rehearse a bunch. You know, some people really like to run it. Wally's someone that really wants to run, and we discover a lot of really great moments when we're running.
Yeah.
Because he was like, let's do that again, let's do that again, and I love that. I love both.
Yeah.
I'm more of the whatever my other partner wants to do, I'm in. If you don't want to run, great. I'll learn my lines and we'll go out and do it. If you want to run, and me and Wally have had some of our greatest combos in the dressing room, just running our lines, and he's always just banging on the door. Wally is the you'll know when it's Wally. I never have to guess because he bangs like so loud, and he's like, "Hey, you ready to run?" I'm like, "Yep," and he's like comes in, he's like ready, and so I learned a lot from him. I always come in prepared, and so did he, and so I learned that from him.
You can tell from the
Yeah.
work. All right, well, we have a couple quick questions. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, number one question we've got here. This is from Joel. What is the most difficult emotion for you to portray?
I mean, I was trying to think of a deeper. I really went through all of them right there. Thinking like, what's the hardest? Honestly, the hardest is surprise or startled or scared, because that isn't an emotion that you can create in yourself. If you really think about it, even as yourself, Joel, or anybody who's listening, trying to make yourself sad, if you really thought about it, you could make yourself sad. You could watch a TV show. You could listen to a song. If you want to get angry, you can think about things that'll make you angry. You can do push-ups. You can scream. You can yell. There's ways to almost cheat your body getting used to it, but a surprise is a surprise.
Yeah.
You have to act surprised. And we do this all the time on days where you open the door and it's someone who you thought it was somebody else. You're like, oh, Will must have forgot his jacket. And then you open it, you're like, so yet again, Maria gave me a great tip on that. And she just goes, in your mind, believe it's someone else and then allow the actor to startle you. So in your mind, be like, oh, this is going to be Judy behind the door. And then I go, oh, it's you. But then you have to have the correct emotion. I can't be like, oh, hey, Chandler, what's up, man? Oh, yeah, wait, we're fighting.
Right. I love that.
So surprise is the hardest. I don't want you all to think I'm a psychopath, but anger is the easiest. And I learned that the casual scenes are where the are the kind of acting that I give props to people, because not to take away from people crying, people yelling, and that's what people love the most. That's what I'll submit next year for the Emmys, is the crying and yelling, because that's what it is. It's not everyone can do that. But in my style, there's something about being able to make a scene about nothing interesting, where it doesn't seem disconnected and you're talking just about whatever. And we have some of those, those are the things I look at the most, that I just go, what real moments? How to have a normal combo with no emotion, just a normal combo, is also very interesting. But once I got the hang of that and started listening, that became easy. So my long-winded answer, Joel, is surprised is always the hardest to play. Everything else comes pretty natural, and after I built, the repetition. And then crying and being sad is always kind of like hard. And to be honest, I don't look forward to it because it's really hard.
It's work.
I guess that would be hard too. That's the hardest to play. But once it comes, it's beautiful. So sad and
love it. Okay.
Surprised.
Let's do one more question.
Okay.
And again, everyone, if you have questions while we're doing the series, please text us your questions about the show, the storyline, whatever's happening. And what is that phone number, Fred?
It's 424-228-9508. If you're in Canada, the United States, that will work. If you're not, you can DM us, you can comment below, and you can comment below in general, because we'll look back to these episodes and just comment, and we'll take questions from the comment section as well. So just hit us up on everything.
Wherever.
And but you're on the text service right now, so that's what we're looking at those.
So this is kind of on par with today, because I know you made a post about the different dates of the episodes airing until you leave, and someone asked, is September 1st your last date there at Days? Like the last air date. And that's from Daisy.
Yeah, Daisy. So I initially, on our scripts, they will give us the script and they'll have the air date on it. So initially it was supposed to be September 18th. And that's what I initially came out, was like it's September 18th. But then with everything that happened in the world, everything got shut down, and then the Olympics got canceled. And I believe the Olympics were obviously going to be on NBC. Right. So that was going to preempt Days, or whatever you want to call it, for 2-3 weeks. And then after today, because me and Alyssa wanted to get prepared on when to film these episodes, because if we have to film all of them right at 2 o'clock on Friday, edit it, and then try to get it up to you at a reasonable time, the days that I have that I air on Friday, to get this show out, it's going to be a later Friday release, because we have to wait till 2:15, 2:30 to watch them all, then film it, then edit it, and we probably won't get it up till around 6 p.m. Pacific. But luckily today we're filming the day before, because I don't air on Friday. So my last day was Thursday. So I go, well, let me look through my email. Can I figure this out? And I was able to figure it out.
Let's rewind a minute. I walk out into the kitchen. Freddie's got this brand new white erase board. He's got this huge page of just numbers and paper and all these different numbers and this crazy equation and organization. And anyone who knows Fred or has been watching a while, he's my numbers man. He's always figuring things out. So you went back into the emails, looked at the numbers of the episode, whatever they were, then looked, I think, at IMDb.
Yes.
And you sat there like a mad genius writing everything out. I was cracking up. That's my boo.
Well, I had to figure it out because IMDb, I don't think it was updated yet or whatever. So I was like, I don't know if I can look at this. So what I ended up doing was I took a stab at it, and I was like, I need to guess this episode. When did this kind of film? And I looked at the schedule, and that's how I knew that me and Brock shot early that day. And I go, oh, this is episode 13,862.
Crazy.
And I said, oh, so this aired on Thursday. So then I went back and looked at all the future episodes that I was given on the schedule, and I was able to plug it in and count the days. I was like, okay, so 63 will be on Friday, then 64 Monday, then 65. I'm in that. Okay, so Tuesday. So I went through and starred all the days where, like, if I only air Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of 1 week, we can watch it, do the recap Wednesday, have everything edited and ready to be released at noon on Friday, because I don't air Thursday, Friday. So I was doing it for for us to know the schedule, and I know a lot of you probably want to know the dates.
Yeah.
I know my grandma's going to love that.
Yeah. Because
she actually asked me, I feel bad. She's like, do you know the dates? Because she just watches it live.
Of course.
And I was like, it's really hard to go through and write all that down. I should have done it all those years. But now she'll have the last 29 episodes.
So check out his IG if you're looking for those dates, or just come every
Friday.
Every Friday. We'll be here.
There's only 1 week that I don't think I air. And on that Friday, we'll think of something special to do. Maybe we'll do like a call-in show, or we'll do something special. But every Friday, I'm going to air at least one episode, if not more, every week all the way till September 1st, except for 1 week in July. So we'll do something special on that Friday. So tune in, subscribe to the channel, comment, text us, all that fun stuff. Oh, also, if you want a shout-out video, we're bookable on Cameo.
Yeah,
you can go to cameo.com/FMSmith319. We got that in the comment section below. We love doing like shout out videos and having some fun. But I want to thank you all so much please, whatever else we can do, I just want to give you everything that I have because you have given me so much in return. Supporting this Wilson storyline, supporting Sonny in a time when we needed the audience to reciprocate for this storyline to continue. I really think a lot of how the audience was going to respond was dictating on whether they would. Maybe they would have aired it regardless. I don't know. I want to speak to that. Maybe they would have done it regardless. But
later, it's been such a beautiful story.
Exactly. So they really wanted to tell this story, and I'm so happy they told it so tastefully. And I'm so excited that we built this huge fan base around Wilson, this love story, and it's meant the world to me. So I'm going to be there every step of the way with you on the last few months here, so that this way we can celebrate it and we don't have to be sad. We can celebrate like a great book of work. And whatever happens in the future, leave that in the unknown. Who knows what'll happen, but at least let's celebrate what we accomplished here.
Love it.
As we
these are so fun. I like this little series edition.
Yeah. So it's gonna be awesome. So we'll see you next Friday. We'll see you next Friday for this edition, but we are gonna air a couple other episodes of the Freddie Alyssa Show in general this week and some other videos. So stay tuned, subscribe, all that good stuff. We appreciate you, and we will see you next time.